everybody. Welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie, Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie, Jessica.
What's the video today, Mandy? Well, it's forced proximity. I'm so glad you remembered what we're doing. Yeah, forced proximity.
That's what we're doing.
Okay, all right. Well, before we get started with all of that, would you like to tell the fabulous people at home what they need to know?
Well, you should hit that subscribe button. We are doing our 26 books of 2026 giveaways. And I think I can talk about this one because we're doing some bulk recording. So we have teamed up with Laura, who is LM Holleran, and she is going to give away a signed copy of First. Just hit that subscribe button, screenshot that you subscribe to us, and head over to her Instagram page and find the post and share that screenshot. Make sure you're following Laura as well, and you'll be entered to win a signed copy of First.
Okay.
And also hit that subscribe button and just stick around because we will have lots of giveaways this year. 26 books of 2026 is what we're working on. And like, comment, and hype our videos. All of that means a lot to us. So thank you for your support.
Okay, let's talk about some forced proximity. I don't like this trope. I'm just going to tell you right now.
Why is it, and I don't know so much forced proximity, but why is it that I mean, it does tend to happen in it, but why are there so many books where people are walking into each other, like pleasuring themselves in the shower, saying people's names?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't call anybody's name. Just FYI. That's just weird to me. Second of all, what? I know. People just out here diddling themselves and like with no regard for the fact that there's people around.
Or like, how do you constantly walk? Like, it's just weird how many times that's happened in books.
Walking on
And
people
forced proximity seems to be the one where they're like sharing like a house or whatever that it happens in. I don't know if it happens in any of the books that I'm going to recommend today. I can't remember, but it just seems to come up a lot.
Yeah, it does. Thinking about a book I was reading yesterday with it. So yes, it does.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
It's very weird. So I don't think I've ever walked in on anybody doing that. So okay. Anyhow, let's
roll.
go. Yes. All right. So the first book that I have is one that I just recently read. And that is His Stolen Queen by S.T. Moore. So this is no, I don't want to remove myself from stage. This is a vampire romance, actually. But it's Fated Mates. It's about Alice and Acheron. Acheron is our vampire king, and his heart has started beating after, living for 300 years. And that is how he knows that his fated mate has been born. And so he's looking for Alice. Well, Alice is human. And Alice is living in the human world that has nothing to do with this paranormal aspect of it. And she is a foster child, and she's had quite a rough life. She does have a foster brother who she didn't stay in their house for very long, but he and her have remained best friends all through childhood, all through high school, and then into college. And so now that Acheron knows that he has this fated mate, once she turns 18, he can find her. Like the fates all align, and he should be able to find her. Well, her 18th birthday comes and goes, and he can't find her. Then her college, like he'll see flashbacks though, like she dreams of him, he sees flashes of what is happening in her life. So he'll have flashes of her, like her graduation, her college graduation. He sees another friend has come into the picture, he can feel her emotions, so he knows it's just a friend. But then he has a flash of her wedding. When she's 30, she's getting married, and he still hasn't found her, and he's desperate, and he sees that she's getting married, and he is beside himself. He is just ticked off, and he decides like he's just going to give up. Well, he doesn't actually give up. He ends up finding out who she is eventually. He finally finds her. He purchases this penthouse. He is very, very wealthy, and he hires her, she's an interior designer, to come and work for him. She doesn't want to. She feels that connection to him. She can't quite figure out what it is, so she tries to pull away. Plus, she's happily married. And he basically blackmails her into being the only person to work. Like, he won't let her have anybody else work with him. Any of her people that work for her. And so he forces her to be his interior designer, to work for him, and they're forced to be together that way. But she's married. But her husband's blonde.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, right off the bat, I'm going to give you guys a novella. So if you're wanting forced proximity, but you don't want the full book length commitment, here you go. So this
Okay.
is Saving Luke by Casey Rose. It is part of the Oak Ridge Military Heroes series. And I think a lot of these would probably fall under the forced proximity, but this one specifically does. So we have Luke. Luke is in the hospital. He was injured in the military. He's now getting out of the hospital and he's staying at Oak Ridge, which is where um, military people can go and stay when they are not needing to stay full time in the hospital, but can't. It's kind of like a rehabilitation center where they're not ready to transition back to their, their homes, or maybe they don't have a home where they could get that care. And so Luke is in a wheelchair, but he is going to hopefully be able to transition to like starting to walk and things like that. But for the time being, he has to be in a wheelchair while he's healing. And he's a little frustrated by that. He has a sister who's extremely overprotective and a little bossy and controlling with his life. And then we have Brooke, who works there, who is his nurse. So that's where we get the forced proximity piece. And so Brooke is starting to kind of fall for him, but the sister, again, is not having it. She's super protective. And again, Luke is really kind of struggling with some of his injuries and like trying to walk again and all of that. So you just have a lot of stuff going on in this with that forced proximity. And again, it's a novella, so a lot of this stuff happens at a little bit of a rapid pace, but I really enjoyed this book, and I went back and started the series.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, the second book that I have is Unexpectedly Ever After by Heather Ashley. That was just a mouthful. By Heather Ashley. It's about Clover and Banks. Now, this is a brother's best friend. I'm sorry, it is, but it's okay. It works. It's not too terrible. So this is about Clover, like I said. She her brother comes to her and basically begs her to let his best friend live with her for 3 months. There's a situation, I don't remember what it is. I didn't put it in my notes, but I do remember there was a situation where the best friend Banks needs a place to stay. Banks is our hot firefighter. So she wants to say no. She and Banks have never gotten along. He teases her. He just tormented her ever since they were young, and she just doesn't want to allow him there. But her brother finally breaks her down enough that, yeah, she lets him come live with her. It's only supposed to be for 3 months. One night, there's a storm, and some stuff goes down, and somebody else goes down on somebody else, and some other things lead to some other things, which then leads to her getting knocked up by Banks. And then they're forced to be together a lot, but they're already living together. So that's all I really remember from it. I did enjoy it, and there you
go. Okay. So we were talking when we were trying to plan this video about how forced proximity is not your favorite.
Mm-mm.
And it's
looking
hard.
For the trope is like the forced proximity. Yes, I do like it. They're forced together, but trying to find it is hard.
Yes, because trying to decide what really makes forced proximity, because just being neighbors, I guess that's forced proximity, but that doesn't necessarily have those same vibes as forced proximity. But then, like, we were talking a lot of dark romance, like Captor Captive, and then Mafia often have forced proximity, but we don't really think of it as forced proximity. So we were struggling with
forced
it.
Marriage,
And so I was trying to get away from just having like the same small town contemporary type feels in mine. And I think I did a good job with not overloading on that. So I grabbed The Woman by Rin Shear.
Okay. All right, that works.
This is very forced proximity. And the stakes are pretty high in this one for her. So this is dystopian. And so you're going to have to bear with me for a little bit on how this one works. So in this world, this is very much like women are robotic. They don't have brains to think for themselves. They just are there simply to do like the household chores and to please their man. And that is it. They don't have any sort of emotions or thoughts beyond those things. And so if they do have any sort of personality, they're considered defective and they are immediately taken, and nobody knows what happens to them after that. And so in this, we have Phoenix. Phoenix is 25 and he is now getting to pick his woman. So this is a great honor when you get to pick your woman. And usually it doesn't happen until you're in your 30s. But Phoenix's family has connections. So this is seen as a high status symbol for him to get to pick. So he gets to pick his woman. And he really has no desire like to do this. He's very focused on his work and drive and making this company huge and successful. And so he really doesn't want to go pick a woman, but he has to. So he goes and he just picks Avery basically. Avery comes to live with them. But here's the thing. Avery is what we would consider defective because she can still think and do things for herself. And she has to keep that hidden from Phoenix while living with him and pretending to not have a personality and to not respond to things like she wants to. So, high stakes forced proximity.
Really good too. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, and I tried really hard not to just go grab Mafia because it's easy to do Mafia. But this next one is Mafia, but it's not like he's forcing her to marry him or anything. You'll understand why in a second. So hold on. So this is the only Mafia I think I have. So this is Dark Obsession by Effie Campbell. This is the third book in her McGowan Mafia series. I think this is my favorite out of all of them. And so this is about Katie and Max. So now it's forced proximity because Katie's brother is married to Mac's sister. And so they're forced to be around each other at family functions and family events. They do not get along whatsoever, but you know, this is a mafia family and they're close knit. And so that's what's happening here. Well, Katie is a model and she is in a relationship with a rock star. But what people don't know is that this rock star is actually very abusive towards her, and he's belittling her, and he verbally abuses her. And so at this point, she's like already way thin, but she's losing more weight because he's calling her fat and all of these things. And you have Mac. So Mac has been, you know, he's part of the mafia, silent brooding type, and he has been watching. He has been in love with Katie forever, and he is watching what's happening from the sidelines, and nobody's recognizing that she's getting tinier and her sweaters are getting bigger, and that she's hiding, like she's covering things up and she's hiding, and nobody ever sees her anymore, but he does, and he knows something is wrong, which then, you know, means that he's going to put on a mask and he's going to start to stalk her, and he might show up in her bedroom and things might be happening, and she might start doing things with this masked stalker. But he's also pierced, so you know, like when she and him kind of like really start liking each other, like he can't show her his dingling because like she's already seen it with the masked stalker guy. So you know, there you go. Why is this not working for me today? I don't know.
Okay. So
Okay.
my next one is one that I typically think of when I think the premise of this is where you're sharing a space and not necessarily because you want to, like kind of somehow thrown together. And that is going to be Chasing the Ring by Lauren Rowe. So in this one, we have Iris, and Iris finds out the night before she's supposed to get married that her fiance has been cheating on her. And she decides to call him out during the wedding. And so, because the wedding was already happening, it's the night before. So she's like, I'm going to call him out in front of everybody. And then everybody will know what he did. So she does that. There are some people at the wedding who grab their phones while she goes off on her tirade and record it. They upload it, and a bride chewing, like kind of freaking out on her soon to be husband at the altar is one of those videos that's going to go viral. So it goes viral. And she decides that she's going to go on the honeymoon by herself because kind of like F him for all of this. So she goes on her honeymoon and she ends up going to what she believes is her honeymoon suite. And in this suite is Roman. And Roman is a football player. She does not recognize him. And she like accidentally walks in on him in this story because she thinks that it's her room. And it turns out there was a little bit of a mix up, and Roman decides to allow her to stay with him because he kind of feels bad for her because there's nowhere else for her to stay. And so the two of them, like this is where the forced proximity comes in, obviously, because they're sharing a hotel room now. But Roman is really intrigued by her because she doesn't realize he's this huge football star. And so it feels like they kind of genuinely like have opportunities to talk and get to know each other without that being part of the equation. He is desperate to change some of his circumstances with where he's playing because he has a son, and so there's a lot of complications in this. And oh, it was just really good.
We just quit changing ourselves over now. Is that how we're working?
I thought you were gonna do it.
You've been doing it the whole video.
Sorry.
Your finger just got tired at the end there, right? Okay.
I'll make up for it.
Well, no, it's okay. It's okay. Okay. So this next book I have is a part of a series. I think any of these books in this series will work. And that is the Slaycation series by Lauren Beale. But I grabbed Ship Happens because they really are forced to be together. Like they're all forced to be together because in this, they're all serial. My finger isn't working, Mandy. Now I've like smart mouthed enough that the things won't let me work or won't do it. So all four of these books that are out are, serial killers that go on like this holiday together. And so they're kind of forced together, whether that be on a private island or in a cabin in Alaska, or this one where they're literally on a cruise ship. But I did enjoy this story a little bit more than the others, just a tiny bit more. But this is about Frankie and Maverick. So Frankie is an FBI agent, and she finds out about these serial killers who are on this cruise ship. They're going to take this cruise. Now, this cruise is a little bit different from the other vacations that these guys have taken, these other staycation trips, because they're actually letting people that are not, like, they're letting regular, average, everyday Joes on this trip as well. And so people are identified by their bracelets that they wear. And there's also a suspicion by the person who's running the ship that there's going to be feds on this ship too. And so it is a little crazy and wild. But Maverick, who is our hero, we have met him at the end of the first book, and he played a huge role in the second book. And this is his time to shine. He's he's a very good looking man, but he, as far as like, in order to get things hard, he has to have been hurt. Like he has to have pain to make it do it. He has a lot of trauma. And so because of that, he really hasn't found the person for him. And so the person who is in charge of this ship, this whole crazy get together, comes to him and says, "You're going to have a new roommate. It is this person that we think is a fed, but you need to keep her safe. She doesn't know it, and that is Frankie." And so he and Frankie end up being roommates in a cruise ship, on a cruise ship in a room. That is a very small room. I'm sorry. I know it says it's like it's a suite that they're in, but that's still a very small room. And they are forced to be partners on this trip. And it's his job to keep her alive when everybody's out to kill the feds.
Alrighty.
Okay.
So my next one is going to be The Devil and the Deep Blue Sea by Elizabeth O'Rourke. Okay, so Drew is famous and just really, really misunderstood. And her ex, Six, who's a rock star, invites her to go on vacation with him to Hawaii. And so she's kind of like, well, I guess maybe I give him a second chance. I don't know. So she's going on this family trip with them. She gets there and he is delayed. And so it's her and his family, and his brother Joshua is there. And they are the forced proximity is that they're staying together on this vacation in Hawaii. Her ex is supposed to be there, and he just continues to be MIA. He's delayed, and then he just like is not showing up. And Joshua's never been really nice to her. Like he makes comments about like count the silver after she leaves and things like that. And in this, as they start to spend time together, Joshua's perception of her starts to change a little bit, and he starts to question why she lets Six treat him the way he has. And he might start to fall for her a little bit, but this is also his brother's ex who he's trying to get back with. So things get very complicated very quickly. So it's messy in a lot of ways, not just the fact that they are stuck on vacation together.
Okay.
Loved it.
I'm so glad. The next book, or my last book here, is it's a Julia Wolf. It is probably my favorite Julia Wolf, and she's hit or miss for me. So it's high praise if I'm saying it's my favorite Julia Wolf, because I actually give this one 5 stars. Okay, anyhow. This is By the Letter. And this one is forced proximity because they're forced to work together. And some other things happen too. Okay, so this is about Shira. Shira is running her husband's company. Her husband has passed away. He was a lot older than her, and their marriage wasn't conventional. There's a reason why she was married to this guy. But she suffers from debilitating shyness. Like everything in the office is catered to the fact, like she knows her employees very well, and like there's certain things that she has set into the office, as far as like she's very accommodating towards other people's needs, and so she'll make certain things policy, and people don't know why that is, but she knows that it's because Bob over here has, like he has to get his daughters to work so he can be late, so like it's okay, even though people don't know like that about him. They know that she has certain things that she does. And she's just very loving and wonderful with her employees, but people on the outside don't see that, because a lot of the things that are put in place is because of her extreme shyness and her apprehension about things. She ends up going to a nightclub one night. She meets a guy on an app. They go to a sex club. They wear masks. They bang it, and then she moves on with her life. Well, one day this guy comes in. He is Roman, our hero. Is it Roman or Ronan? I don't know. Ro comes in. I have Roman down. We'll see. Anyhow, he comes into work. He has actually bought a chunk of her husband's company, and he is there to he idolized her husband, and so he is there to help. The company was floundering when she got it anyway. She hasn't had it for very long, and so he's come in to buy it out, revive it, and do things. Now he thinks that she's a bitch. He thinks she's a cold-hearted bitch because of the debilitating shyness. He doesn't realize what's happening. And so he ends up getting the board to vote her out, to vote her to be a silent partner. And so he's very cruel to her. It's very angsty in the beginning when you see this, because we know what's going on, like as far as her debilitating shyness. And then he realizes that this person, comes to figure it out, that this person is the same person that he met on that app and had sex with that one night. Oh, and by the way, she's knocked up. So, there you go. Why won't my finger work?
I don't know, but I just lost my spot. Oh, there it is.
You only got one left.
Okay. So my last one is Accidentally Married by Daphne Elliott. And so this is Willa and Cole's story. So this is Cole's an ex-hockey player. He's been injured. He doesn't really know what he's going to do with his life. And he's always kind of been the screw up. And he just has a lot of negative self-talk when it comes to that, because he's let other people's perceptions just really like influence him heavily. So he is trying to repair this relationship with his half brothers, and he gets invited to go to their wedding celebration in Vegas. And I think it's like a kind of like a pre like engagement party celebration in Vegas. And so he's there. His ex is there, and her best friend Willa is there. And he doesn't realize who Willa is at first. He just sees this really good looking woman who catches his eye, and somebody's like, dude, don't, it's Willa. And he's like, oh, okay. Well, him and Willa end up hanging out together in Vegas. They get drunk and they get married. And the next day, somebody that was there took a picture of it and shared it in like their Facebook community page or something. And so his brother comes knocking on the door and just starts laying into him about how stupid and selfish he is and for doing this. And Willa is just all of a sudden, she's like, I couldn't take it anymore. And she steps in and actually says, well, we've been secretly dating and we just love each other. And we decided we wanted to get married and didn't want to wait. And Cole just kind of stands there a little dumbfounded that Willa's coming to his rescue like this and saying all of this stuff. But she just couldn't handle listening to him get berated and him just standing there and taking it. And so they then go back to Maine and live together. Forced proximity, of course, because they have to try and keep up this facade. Now, Willa is a doctor. She's recently taken over the town practice, and she's just really, really feeling the pressures of a lot of things. And so while you have Willa, who is extremely studious and feeling all these pressures, you have Cole that's a little more relaxed. And so the two of them really just start to work together while they're figuring all of this out and in this pretend marriage. Where are you?
I'm waiting for you to flip us back around.
I did. I pushed it. There it is. Okay.
Wasn't working for me either. Dang it, StreamYard. Okay. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. There's some force proximity for you.
Extreme variety.
Yeah.
We're all over with it. So
Yes, we are.
there
Yes, we
should
are.
be something depending on what you're looking for.
Exactly. All right. Well, let's wrap this guy up.
Well, make sure you check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like, comment, and hype if you feel so inclined. We would really, really appreciate it.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.